Today, Martin Guitars launches a brand new junior series. We've got all of them here to show you and to demo for you, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag. Check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, and, buy your wares from us. Do those things. We have a bunch of guitars in the room with us today. They are of the smaller variety. Juniors from Martin up in the PA. And, yeah, it's a whole revamped series of the ever-popular junior series. Seems every guitar company's trying to get in on this, the smaller variety. But I like the changes. We're going to kind of go through what the changes are. We've got every single model that's currently available in the series. And Cooper has done the labor of demoing every single one for your ears and enjoyment and scrutiny.
Regrettably, including the basses.
Including the basses. So if you have any comments on Cooper's bass playing, we would love to hear them in the comments below. It's an arduous process. I don't know if this, what's worse, Josh? There was a time, I don't know if you remember this, we were testing strings, so I restrung the same guitar like 13 times.
That was worse.
Yes, but this is up there.
This is a lot of stuff. A labor of love. Now, there are changes, but it's also a nice reminder about what these are, which they're all solid wood, small travel-sized guitars. And we sort of introduced an all solid wood travel-sized guitar earlier this year that we've been talking a lot about that has been back-ordered for, we cannot keep in stock. We got in like 10 the other day. They were all spoken for and they're all gone. So
that's the FERC Pioneer.
Yeah, the FERC Pioneer. So we did talk quite a bit about how that was like kind of the coolest thing to come out of NAMM this year. These just dropped today if you're watching this video today. So this wasn't at NAMM. But if the craze is out there for an all solid something small, and with some of the added stuff that you can get out of these guitars, I think the refresh, yes, they're cool changes, but also it's just kind of a reminder like, hey, yeah, you can get a all solid wood Martin starting about $6.99, and it's a great deal, but these got a lot of really cool stuff.
They all come with bags. Some of them come with pickups. Not every single one does, right? They all come with pickups?
Yeah.
So they all come with pickups. They all come with gig bags. They're all still solid, which I'm glad to see. One of the things I was concerned about with a revamp was maybe they would switch that, but they've kept it, so you get all that good solid body resonance, solid woods. We shouldn't say solid body, but there's some really interesting ones in the mix. We have new tuners on a lot of these satin chrome tuners that, like the one that is in my hands. Let's go through some of the changes.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing for me is the scale length. And let me explain why. So these are all now 24.9 inch scale length. That's the same scale length as a normal O full-size guitar. A lot of times people will ask me, and I'm sure you get this question, hey, I'm buying my first guitar. Is something like a GS Mini a good guitar? And my concern always is it's a great guitar, but if it's your only guitar, you should know it's shorter than a full scale length guitar. And if that's all you ever play, when you try to go to a longer scale length guitar, you could, have some issues. It'll just be uncomfortable because the frets are further apart. So I think it's great when you have, this is one of the strengths of the Pioneer we talked about. It's a 24-inch scale length. So 24.9, just a little longer, but you get a standard, O scale length on all of these guitars. I think that's fantastic. We already said it stayed with the, all solid wood construction for the top, back, and sides. We have a revised kind of neck profile on the sides.
Comfortable. Also, all the pickups are Martin's E1, right?
Yep.
E1. So you got the tuner. If you're looking down, you got the tuner in each one, volume and tone, and then there's switches behind each of those knobs. You can turn on the tuner, or you can hit a phase switch. What are your thoughts on the E1?
It's a perfectly fine, usable pickup system. I was confused by it, but I get it. Martin's doing something kind of proprietary. So, if it said Fishman in the past at this price point, it doesn't anymore. Works perfectly fine.
Says Martin. So we have 8 instruments here.
8 of them. Well, how many guitars?
We got 6 guitars.
So we have six instruments and 2 bass guitars.
That's, we don't hide the fact this is a guitar-centric channel. But
I have to give Josh a hard time. Our cinematographer, the man squatched behind the camera, is a bass player. And so every time I get a chance, I tell this very wonderful, talented person that it's just one note at a time.
Not how he does it. So we have 3 triple O's, 3 dreadnoughts, and 2 basses. The basses are triple O, but we'll get there. So let's start. I want to start with that one right there.
With this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one caught my eye, and I think everyone on the channel will understand why pretty quickly, because I thought maybe you grabbed the wrong guitar for the channel. I was like, oh, why? What? That's not. Why is that in here? Oh, it's smaller. It's not a triple O 15M.
This is not a triple O 15M. This is not a triple O 10E. This is a triple O C Junior E. No, triple O Junior E. This is not the C. So this is a non-cutaway, unlike that one. All solid Sapele, triple O Junior body, and this one is $699. And this is kind of your entry point, but
let's $699, triple O travel size body, full scale length, all solid wood with a pickup.
There's another one out there that's solid mahogany top, layered mahogany back and sides with a pickup that is also $699.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all solid wood. So I think this one, not to spoil, I think this one is probably my favorite just because it's super simple. Basically, gives you that sort of all mahogany type sound.
Mm-hmm.
But we have talked a lot about the 00010E. That's an $899 all solid wood Martin. This is just a smaller version of that for $200 less. I think this one is pretty unbeatable. Weirdly enough, we don't know if this is on purpose or if this was something at the factory that was done on accident. This one does not have the satin chrome tuners.
We have questions on 2.
We have 2 with interesting tuners.
Yeah.
So this one has the kind of black button like a 0015M would have. But very cool guitar, followed by the actual 000C Junior E Streetmaster.
Because, when you become street smart, word on the street means that you know your way around. It requires you to get some bumps and bruises along the way.
You have to. And if you like the Streetmaster look, but you want the Junior Dreadnought, there you go.
Now, these Streetmaster versions differ a little bit from the one you just had and a lot of the other ones. All of these have thin fretboards. It's all got kind of shaped edges on the fretboard like we've seen with the new standard series. A lot of them have a overlay of HPL Brazilian rosewood, and yet you pointed out these do not. And so that means that they also have kind of a different logo. So the one that you just had, the
000 Junior.
The 000 Junior, I keep wanting to call it the 15. It has the overlay, and so it's kind of a silk screened logo. Whereas these that don't have the overlay and it's just mahogany have a raised foil logo. So just some interesting things that you'll see differently between them. Otherwise, again, it's the 1 3/4 inch nut width, which I've long said I think is a benefit of these over a GS Mini. If you like the wider nut, I prefer 1 3/4 inch.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that it's not just 1 3/4 inch, but it's 24.9, I'm really happy with that. So
I mean, that's a small version of 0015M Streetmaster with a cutaway and electronics in it. And then this is kind of your D15M Streetmaster. But if you love those guitars,
yeah, I also like these, the kind of abalone dot inlays. It's pretty nice.
So looking good. Those are the Streetmasters. Now let's see that other 000 cutaway over there.
Now we move to a brighter spruce top.
Yeah, spruce top, Sapele back and sides. Got the Dreadnought Junior, spruce Sapele, 000C Junior,
000C. It's got faux abalone.
Faux baloney. Baloney.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Baloney rosette. some baloney dots, and the HPL baloney
The baloney Brazilian. Now,
it looks good though. I like it.
if you're keeping track, you got the all Sapele triple O with a pickup and no cutaway, and then you got the 2 Streetmaster versions, then you got the 2 spruce Sapele versions, and this is going to be, same kind of feel, same everything. Definitely different tone.
Different tone, yeah.
Than the Sapele top.
The Sapele top ones are going to be darker, mellower sounding, compressed, not as much dynamic range. These will have more dynamic range. They'll be brighter and they'll be effectively louder.
Yeah. So you got these 2 options for your classics. You've also got the Legend.
When you have gone beyond mastering the streets, you become a legend.
The Street Legend
in the streets.
And so, if you know of the D18 and D28 Street Legend guitars that were put out last year, with the tops that make you look like a real troubadour, now you got a little mini version.
You love it. I love that. Big George Strait guy. Yeah. So I love it. I always question with these though, like you really beat the top of the guitar up. The back and sides are pristine.
Yeah. I mean, you're keeping it close, but up top, you're going crazy.
It's the opposite of a mullet. It's party in the front, business in the back.
Which, that's Martin style.
Now this one also we have a question on regarding the tuners. Because they are really nice, actually. They are open gear Grovers.
Yeah.
Which is surprising at this price point. So the question we have is that what's going to be standard on these, or are these early production models and you should buy this one because it's got the tuners?
This is the most expensive one.
It is.
So maybe it comes with open gear Grovers. I don't know.
But what's the price point on this one?
I think this one's $849.
Yeah. I mean, there's guitars from Martin that are currently
$899.
$1,300 that don't come with Grovers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's pretty cool.
This is $899. The Sapele non-cutaway is $699, and then I believe in the middle it's like a $749 sort of price point. Still great value. Still less than the Pioneers.
Yeah, I mean, starting at $700 with a $150, breadth of it. Price.
And then for the bass fiends, do you have an open stand over there?
No, but I can have open arms.
Open arms.
Or arms wide open.
That's good for me. For the basses, both triple O cutaways, both spruce Sapele. You got a natty and a burst. And, very comparable, I'd say, to the GS Mini bass, though those do not have a cutaway.
Well, and longer scale length. And I think, all of these guitars benefit from that from the standpoint of the player and being comfortable with that. But I think the bass guitars will benefit from the longer scale length just because of the slightly additional tension that's on the strings. Yeah. Josh is nodding over behind the camera because, when you go, anytime you start shrinking scale length on a bass guitar and you've got a string tuned down that much, it's always like this balance act.
It's like you're playing Korn only.
Yes, that's right.
Rattle.
Blah, blah. So you do a pretty good freaking
Yeah, I love Korn.
We're going to get striked on.
Big Korn fan.
If you do it too well, we're going to get the copyright strike. So.
Yeah.
But no, so I think the longer scale length on the basses is a good call. And I think it's also a good call to do them both with spruce tops because you want that brightness.
It's all about the push.
Yeah, and the volume. Because that's the thing a lot of times with acoustic bass guitars is even when you make this giant acoustic bass guitar, it doesn't have that much volume.
Yeah.
And what's been impressive by the smaller ones is being able to produce the volume they do at a smaller size. So, yeah.
And it's got a pickup in it, which I think is almost like required for a little acoustic bass.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. And the tuner does pick up the low frequencies.
All the bass frequencies.
Which is nice. I was surprised by that. But the basses feel good. Now, on the demo, I would love to have said, like, I'm going to play different stuff on each one based on how it inspires me. But I know that means that's not helpful at all. So more or less the same on every single one, strumming some chords, some leads, and then on the bass, since they should sound exactly the same, they're the same guitar, just different burst. Ask Billy Corgan, he'll disagree. I did this one, fingers, the other one with the pick, just because, you know, people like to switch it up. So have fun for the next 45 minutes listening to me play E, A, and B7 in many different ways. Check it out.
All right, so there you have all of the demos, and now that we're on the other side of the demos, we'll tell you that we'll timestamp the demos. So if you watched all the way through, now you can skip around and go back and reference them. Yeah. So
I think each one of these is it's cool because they sort of reflect. Let's take the bases out of it, even though they do have the BC16E. To my knowledge, they still have that. There's kind of like little versions of a lot of stuff that's popular in the standard lines. So you kind of got your, I mean, 0015 kind of vibe, sort of a, I mean, it would be nice if they did more like this kind of, I think the Road Series stuff is great, but this will be your sort of 0018 cutaway, D18. You got the Streetmaster stuff, you got the StreetLegend, and you got the basses, so you can kind of, if you have a Martin guitar that you love and you want a little mini version, I think you have plenty of options, but also it's all solid wood travel guitar, and there's more and more companies trying to make that happen, and it's sort of been dominated by Taylor. I think Ferk is doing something great, and I've always been impressed just by the sound of these. Like when you strum it, it sounds really nice. It's louder than you expect. They're comfortable. I remember when we got the older ones in, you know, we had a bunch in the store. I love those guitars, but I do think it needed a little bit of a kind of refresh reminder for a lot of people.
Yeah.
These are, great value.
Well, and I think too, for people that are concerned from like a technical practice standpoint with your travel guitar, you can take this and not have a huge adjustment in the feel. If you are trying to become like proficient, you know, if you're just kind of strumming and bumming, you know, it really doesn't matter much. But if you are actually working on pieces, it does.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that I've run into if I'm on vacation and actually want to take the time to, you know, practice. It's great to have something that's the same scaling. So I love that decision. I think it was the right one to make. And yeah, they're fantastic. They do feel better. I like the feel of the neck shape and the fretboard, and the bass is really cool. I was having a lot of fun on it. So and good value. You know, in the day of ever increasing prices, it's nice to have these come in, you know, at a pretty affordable price point considering the specifications of it.
I mean, just the headline of like you can get an all solid wood Martin for $6.99. That's good for me.
Yeah.
But you within a pretty small spectrum of price, you have a lot of options. I would love to see what it would look like if they were to do maybe some limiteds or expand this to other back and sides woods.
Oh, just you wait. One of these is going to end up with Felix the Cat printed on the top.
We'll get Felix the Cat on there. But yeah, I think Ferk proved it can be done. Give me a cedar mahogany, give me a Engelmann rosewood.
Yeah.
But for solid sapele, back and sides, obviously that factors into the cost, and that's a great wood. I think these are priced really nicely, especially right now where everything is going nuts. To have these come out and not be $9.99 to start or something that blows my mind. So very good stuff.
Absolutely. So if you want more information about all 8 of these models that are now in the Martin Jr. series that launched today, we've got them all on our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
Check out the specification. You were so calm in how you said that at the very end. Just like whisper it. Get people to lean in a little bit. So all of these are on the website. It's a launch day thing, so what we have will probably, I expect, sell out pretty rapidly and hopefully be replenished pretty quick. So if you'd like to get one, don't dawdle. And particularly since we had some question on some of the tuners, you never know if that's going to continue. So if you like the look and the aesthetic, make sure that you act on that. If you have any questions, you can also chat with us online. We'll be glad to help you out. And if you like, guitar reviews and witty banter, what should they do?
Check out Casino Guitars.
That's it.
They're great stuff. You're going to want to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment, share them with your friends, and turn the notifications on.
Yeah, send them to Casino Guitars. Those guys would love them.
Tell them hi once you get there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.